Hello everyone, it is Exoman, and I have an interesting subject for you today, of which I am no expert, and this is underfouling or underpainting of boats, specifically pontoons, in this illustration. So this is a good topic for you guys who like to sit around and marine environments. I don't know if you're in the lounge out by the docks talking to your buddies who are into boats. This will be a good topic for you all to debate, right? And that is whether or not this is a good idea, to underpaint your boat. And the main reason is because this is anti-fouling paint, I think it's called, and it protects your boat from corrosion and barnacles and things like that. And it does a good job of that. The evidence that I'm seeing tells me that it just doesn't make sense to me, maybe in this circumstance. So my neighbor has had a stroke, and I just had to get his boat out of the water. The company that did this for him told him to leave the boat in the water, which seemed counterintuitive to me, because we're in a saltwater environment. We're not far out, we're right off the intracoastal here, and it was down by his dock down here in salt water, and it's highly corrosive out there, and I don't want my engine, even though it's protected, it's got the cowling and whatnot, it's still a saltwater environment, and I don't want my boat in that. My solution is take the boat out of the water, clean it, and put it away. That's the price you pay to take care of your toys, right? Their solution is underpaint it and leave it in so it's there when you need it. I just don't think that's the best solution. So we've come to the realization that the boat should come out of the water because it's not going to be used for a time. And here's what we found. Look at that, barnacles all over the transom and the motor, and I don't want that. But yes, there's no barnacle growth here. Okay, so here's the interesting part that I wanted to discuss with you, and that is the weight factor. My friend, my contractor buddy, brought that to my attention when I was chatting with him this morning. He said, look up the weight on that stuff. He said, this is secondhand information, that his brother, who worked as a contractor in the military, I don't know, he's working on boats, and he had a gallon of this paint, and I don't know if it was the underfouling paint, but it was some kind of marine paint. He said the gallon weighed 80 pounds. The idea is that the stuff has a lot of different kinds of metals in it that help with the anti-corrosive properties, and those metals are very heavy. So what we're looking at here, and this is my unprofessional opinion and observation, is the water line. You see how the underpainted the water is? The water line is almost a good 70% up the pontoon. Let's take a look at that, right? You see what I'm saying? That's way up there, okay? Okay, let's say 60, I don't know. More than 60%, I would say. I went and looked at my boat, which is not underpainted. It's the same kind of thing, same size motor, 115 Yamaha, and mine is at about 50%. It's much less. So this weight of this anti-fouling paint has sunk this boat a good 10%. That's just my observation. Look at all these barnacles. So that's something to talk about. That's something to leave comments about underneath here. Not to mention, that's thousands of dollars worth of work. At least $3,000 with the two coats. Yeah, I'd be really interested in hearing consensus about underpainting boats and leaving them in the water. All right, I've begun work, and now let's reassess this. I've noted that these barnacles did not spray off. I had to knock them off. Everything else came off with the pressure washing but the barnacles. and I noticed that some of this underpaint comes off. It is kind of a sacrificial paint anyway, but here's something important that concurs with what I was saying earlier. Look at this paint line versus the water line. So my guess is this is the second paint line. My guess is the first time he brought it in, the water line was here, and that's where they brought the paint to, right? And then he put it in the water, and it sunk down with the weight of the paint up to here, and then the next time he had it painted, they brought the paint line up to here. And now look at the water line. You see what I'm saying? So if he had it painted again, they would just mark this water line and paint it to here. My God, where does it end? How many coats can we afford? Talking about an inch or more. See? Here's the new water line up here. Here's where they thought the water line was when it was brought in, obviously. So, in my unprofessional, humble opinion, yes, this would definitely affect the performance of this vessel and weight it down. It's very visibly obvious, right? We're talking an inch or more total of loss of profile there. That's very interesting. And like I say, the paint is coming off. Now here's my boat. And you see, I left my boat in the water a couple of weeks, mid-season one year, and it got some barnacle growth. But it was easy enough for me to get under here and pressure wash it after they dried out. And they seemed to come off the aluminum, the unpainted aluminum, rather easily. I mean, it was a task because it's a lot of area, but it wasn't that difficult. And unlike the painted surfaces of the power stick and the motor and such, I was able to just simply pressure wash them off instead of beating them off with a stick. Here is something else very interesting. Look at this. Can you see what these barnacles have done? They're growing under. They start their growth under that pinstriping. Look at that. You see that? They grow out from under the pinstriping, or they grow beside the pinstriping and spread under it, thus removing it from the paint. That's sad. What a shame. Another reason not to leave these kind of things in the water. Look at that. It's gonna have, I mean, obviously there's nothing you can do to salvage that. This one didn't grow under, it started to creep under the pinstriping there with the lettering. Huh. I'm getting the mud and the algae off, but the barnacles will all have to be knocked off. In some areas the paint seems very weak. In other areas it seems very good. That's not good. That's not a whole lot of pressure. That should not be coming off. Look at that. One thing I figured out is the reason the paint is coming off so much underneath and not as much out on the sides is because they didn't do as good a job underneath. And what I mean is they probably didn't clean the metal as well and prep it as well, and they probably didn't paint it as well. See how much better that is? What's that? You're going for a W-A-L-K?
Before it rains.
Oh, you can say it now, huh?
Yeah.
Are you going for walksies? Good boy. Do your zoomies. Right?
Yeah, that's on the way home.
Okay. Do your zoomies, Poe. Okay. good as I could get this for now. Oh, I missed a couple. We'll come back. Got that cleaned out so we can get the pole back in the channel there. Okay, this thing, yes, this I would be very tempted to invest in. These things are awesome, and they withstand that environment. They shouldn't be left in the water like that, but this thing looks otherwise brand new after a year or so being out there. And so useful to anchor your boat this way. Just back up to a sandbar and poke that thing in the water and you're good. So the more I work on this and the more I think about it, I just come to the conclusion that it is not a good idea. I would never underpaint my boat, and I would never leave it in the water, at the risk of sounding redundant. But and also now I'm questioning pressure washing. Maybe you're not supposed to be able to pressure wash under painting. I don't know. It seems to me that paint should not come off with careful pressure washing. And I'm being pretty ginger, and it's coming. Some of it just came right off. So yeah, let's see what the consensus is and what you guys think. I'm going to get this finished up. I got to spray a little more, and we'll get it covered up, and we'll put it away for at least for this season. Hopefully it'll be out next season when my neighbor's doing better. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll talk soon.